Lion just recovered a fumble.
Bits of wisdom.
It's Harry Houdini, I'm pretty sure.
That's when it kind of becomes Home Improvement After Dark.
I guess that leaves us at the question of the week.
Very good. I don't know if you noticed, Jordan, but a really cool aerial shot of the table. Reasonably funny.
User review.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and podcast time.
That's right. A company that is dance partners with Binford Tools is proud to present a Home Improvement podcast. My name is Adam, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jordan. Jordan, to live is to dance, and to dance is to be free.
I was wondering when we were going to get to that quote. It's very influential in my life now. Very monumental statement from that dance instructor as well.
Yeah, she was one of many memorable guest stars this week. Jordan, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm happy to be here with you as always. You have any weekend plans? Anything interesting going on near you this weekend?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to attend this or not, but just about 10-15 minutes north of me is going to be the official U.S. Quidditch Cup. So I guess that's a thing that they hold every year. Colleges from around the nation gather together to play Muggle Quidditch. So
yeah, that sounds.
I feel like I'm missing an opportunity by not going, but I thought I would bring it up.
Is it? It's sort of just like. Is it more like rugby? I mean, obviously they're not on broomsticks or anything.
You have to hold the broomstick between your legs the whole time, so you kind of play one-handed, as far as I know. And then I actually saw, we were walking on Michigan State's campus back when I used to go there, and they had this set up, and they have like 3 hoops standing up at different heights.
Yeah.
They have a goalie who is called a keeper, and they have chasers. They have this little ball. They have if you get hit by a different ball, you have to like run back to the start, and you have to drop the ball if you have it. So, and then for the snitch, this will really help if people have paid attention to Harry Potter. They'll know a lot more about what we're talking about. But is an actual person who's wearing yellow, and they have like a little thing tied to them, and they just run around randomly on the field, and people try to catch them. So
what a tremendous waste of time and energy and resources and so on and so forth.
They're just they're starting a community. It must be semi-big if people are traveling around the country and they have like live streams on their website and stuff. It's pretty wild.
So you're not going to go, you're just going to watch the live stream from their website?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it over. The in-laws are in town, so we're probably going to be hanging out with them. We have some plans.
They're both beaters, right?
Retired, though. They kind of don't want to revisit that.
I saw that terrible movie with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, The Internship, where they both get jobs at Google as interns when they're like 45. It's a really bad movie, but there's a scene in that where they play Quidditch, and it sounds like what you're describing and what they were doing. I mean, it looked, it looked very silly. And this will sound just like a thing that I am not on board for, but maybe I'd like to watch for a couple of minutes, but not pay admission for, so I don't have to stay the whole time.
Yeah,
so
see, I think
can watch
would
from 100 yards away or something.
I think I'd really like to see it in person at least once, but I don't know if I can stomach $30 for that opportunity.
So how much it is?
It's like $30 for a day pass. And
who do they think they are?
I think they do other things, like it's kind of a festival of sorts. Okay. So they
it's in Orlando or what?
Yeah, it's a little bit east of Orlando, but I would guess that one of the reasons they come to this area is so they can go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter one night or something all together.
Do you like that?
I've been there a couple times. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I went one time, a long time ago. Really, wow, that's really something.
I never would have guessed that it would be so close to St. Cloud, Florida, but here we are.
That's why you moved down there, to be close to things like that. And just connect to the Wizarding World.
My wife's alma mater is going to be there, but she has no interest in going.
They sending a Chippewa team down there?
Yeah, they got a Central Michigan. I think they're a different nickname for some reason, but
Yeah.
Everyone's got like a dragon nickname or something. I've done way more research than I probably should have.
Yeah. You probably done more research on this than you did on this week's episode.
That's probably
worthwhile. A worthwhile endeavor.
No doubt.
Quidditch. If you want to see Daniel Radcliffe, apparently he just hang around Flint because he has a girlfriend that is from Flint, and people like see him around there all the time. You know about that?
I've heard about it. I think he was spotted at Bob Evans before it closed.
I heard he was spotted at Don Pablo's.
Oh boy! I think that's where this ends.
Report back if you do end up driving by or anything, or if you find anything online. Let us know. Because Harry Potter. It may have ended a while ago, but it lives on. Legend lives on.
Sure does.
So.
This episode also lives on, mostly because we force everyone to listen to what we have to say about it, and we force ourselves to watch it. So
I watched it 2 times this morning in the last
back to back.
Had to get it in. So what are we covering this week?
We're covering Dances with Tools. This is our 40th Home Improvement episode that we're going to be covering. So this one was written by Rosalind Moore. We last saw her when she wrote Abandoned Family, which I think we both loved. It was just a cheerful and uplifting episode.
Remind me of what happens in that one.
Tim has to take care of the house. He redoes the washer and dryer. They get into a fight about, I don't know, gender equality.
I remember, yeah.
I guess.
It was a good one.
It was a real knee slapper. And this aired February 3rd, 1993. And I've got a plot synopsis by the one and the only Tony Topola. Of
Back
Finland.
from the dead, baby.
Of Finland. So it's going to be a little bit longer than the anonymous one we had last time. So here we go. At home, the boys pull a prank on a sleeping Tim. Tim and Jill's wedding anniversary is coming up. Tim bribes the boys to reveal Jill's surprise gift for him. When he finds out how cool it is, he realizes he has to give Jill something she really wants. Ballroom dancing lessons with him. The problem is, Tim can't dance at all. The boys try to pull a prank on a sleeping as far as they know Al. In tool time, Tim demonstrates a nail gun with disastrous effects. Thank you,
disastrous
Tony.
Effects it's clearly Tony Topola is back with that kind of an ending.
Ooh,
I like the inclusion of the Al prank and the tool time
nail gun
because that's a combined 30 seconds of screen time. Very, very small stakes.
But
there.
Lots of implications.
Such as?
We'll get to them.
All right, fair enough.
To them. No plot keywords this time?
All right, I'll start. Pranking.
Gosh, I thought I had one. Dance floor.
Steering wheel.
Excalibur.
No, not whipped cream. Shaving cream. Is it whipped cream?
No, it is whipped cream.
Is it?
Yeah, it's whipped cream.
Well, both.
Tabasco sauce.
All right, last one. Cha-cha.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it. We open. Tim is sleeping on the couch, and we overhear the boys talking of pranks, and the prank wars that have been going on the last couple episodes continue, and they know a pillow fight that just went too far the previous evening. And things get a little strange from my perspective here. There's really just one thing that the boys do that I don't think that they should have been doing.
I know what you're going to say.
Well, Jordan. So the 3 boys, one of them ties their father's shoes together. The other one puts whipped cream on their dad's hands. And the third one slowly, and the camera zooms in, unzips their father's pants.
Why?
And I'm thinking, what's that for? I guess when he stands up, his pants fall down, you can see his boxers or whatever. But just I don't want to get too into this, but just the child hand slowly unzipping the pants of the adult man, and the camera kind of zooming in. Just a very, very strange thing to include. I don't. It seems like you could have maybe done that another way. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't. I'm just glad he wasn't going commando.
Yeah, I mean,
jeez, that could have been a disaster.
I just thought that was so strange. Like if they're trying to like have him stand up and have his boxers show, then just have him in his boxers with like a blanket or something. But just like the unzipping of the pants, I felt like Rosalind Moore wanted us to think that was just something normal for a child to do in terms of a prank, but immediately stood out to me.
Yeah, you know what stood out to me right away, and this happens before the prank. There is a nice bug graphic that is the Home Improvement logo that flies, and Tim kind of swats it away in his sleep.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh man, yeah,
I'm still watching these on Daily Motion, so I think I'm missing a lot. I don't even know if I have the right episode, but the prank. To get back to the perverted prank, they do the feather on the face thing, and Tim. Apparently, this is what you do because you see this in every TV show and movie ever. When you have a little feather on your face, you think it's a bug or something, so you swat at it, and he gets shaving cream all over his face, and he stands up, and because the children unzipped his pants fall down, and it's just very embarrassing for Tim, or we're supposed to think it is. Jill Leonard's about the same time, and he says, "Hey, will you get me a towel?" And we are supposed to think she's getting a towel, but guess what, Jordan? She takes a photo of him.
It's probably that.
Evidence.
She's rude. I don't know why she would want to. I don't know. She doesn't help him, that's for sure. I did notice also that in this episode, there is a lot more Binford placement than I remember before. His boxers have Binford all over him.
I wondered about that because I think Brad or someone says something about
it says Binford, Binford.
Yeah, but yeah.
And his sweatshirt says Binford as well.
Yeah, and then there's like a Binford promo later on. So
and Al's boots have Binford on them later.
That's crazy.
Just too much Binford for me.
Yeah, that is one knock against it.
For it being a fake company,
yeah,
it would be like, if it had Coca-Cola and everything, it would be a product placement. But
well, we've seen them do that pretty obviously too.
True.
But.
Yeah. So Jill does. She does not help in this endeavor. She helps the boys. She does also make a joke that it's too early to make love because she thinks that. Well, she doesn't actually think that, but she thinks that this is a ploy that he's ready to go.
Yeah, because he has his pants down. Because the children unzipped his pants. So,
and that's the opening scene. It's full of a lot of implications.
It's silly. It's just zany.
It's just real zany. I was wondering about any memorable pranks that you have in your life. I have several that I remember. Some that have to do with you.
Oh, really? I was just gonna say I don't really think I'm very good at pranking.
Well, I mean, the ones that I have in mind were more of prank phone calls.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I did a lot of that, and I did it like a lot long. Like, I think most people prank call when they're like
6, 7, 8.
10, I was going to say 10 to 13 or something, but I was still prank calling well into college.
Sometimes you prank call me.
I did do a lot of that, but in terms of actual pranks, not so much my bag. I don't know. My sister put a piece of cardboard in a brownie she gave me when I was little one time. That stands out.
What?
So I don't know.
Wow.
I was like 9 or something, so that was brother sister hijinks, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not much of a prankster.
I'm not really that much either. I remember having like a fake snake when I was younger, and I'm sure I used that to trick my mother at some point, and she was not happy. But also,
you're a big whoopee cushion guy. I remember it's kind of your MO. You just love placing a whoopee cushion.
Do you remember those like machines where you had a remote and
fart noises or something?
Yeah, something like that. That's the advanced whoopee cushion. Give you a little bit more control.
I had a thing. I used to buy things at like Spencer's Gifts, and like think they have like those prepackaged pranks, and like think that they were gonna work on people. So like I had like a fake ice cube with a bug in it or something.
Oh man!
Which I would try to like prank people with, but that's pretty nasty because it's like plastic ice cube that you're putting in an actual glass.
It's still gross. Yeah, even though there's not an actual fly in it, they're not going to drink it.
It's probably grosser. It's probably actually worse for you than having an actual fly in an ice cube would be, frankly. But
yeah, I was going to say one other prank memory. This was between my dad and Sam's dad, Craig.
They're going to say Roger.
No, they don't prank each other. That's love.
Shout out to your dad's best friend, Roger.
So it was April Fool's one year, and For some reason, Craig put turkeys in our yard, and just fake turkeys.
Craig always was a strange guy.
So he did that, and my dad fought back by putting a for sale sign in our yard. So
in your yard?
Yeah, saying
why is he is mad or something?
No, well he was basically saying that we're moving, sorry guys. And I
thought you were gonna say your dad got him back by killing all the turkeys and eating them.
Well, they
really
weren't
showed Craig.
They weren't real turkeys, so that wouldn't have been very tasty. But my dad just went one step too far, and he was like, you know what, we're leaving. And our families are very close, so the joke was that we're just leaving without telling you, and we're gonna move away. So
yeah, wow.
Quite the April Fools that year.
I mean, the best April Fool's prank I ever did was a week ago when I tweeted that the show was going off the air, and I mean, upwards of 2 people seemed really saddened by it. So that was,
you alienated all of our listeners.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, listens are down. We lost followers on Twitter. I'm getting hate mail, so I wish I wouldn't have done it, but can't turn back time.
Hindsight 2020. So I guess that's a great time to move on after the depressing news of our listenership going down. Next scene, we're going to be at home after the intro sequence. Everyone's sitting around getting ready to leave for the day. I suppose the bus is coming soon. Mark tells a joke from a joke book that he has open. I didn't quite get the joke or catch the joke, and I know that we don't really get a resolution to it because they just kind of move on.
It's the old Polly want a lawyer thing,
yeah.
I guess it's the opposite of that because they posit, they give us the actual joke but not the punchline.
Yeah.
Whereas I just gave the punchline. I don't even remember what the punchline was. It was like, what is green and has spots or something?
It was like, what is green, has 8 legs, and I think it said liver spots or something? I don't know. It was hard to understand, Mark.
Tim says your mom. Yeah, it's hard to understand Mark because he's just so whiny. Mom, listen to me tell my joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's anniversary time on the Taylor house, and Tim knows the anniversary is coming, but he doesn't remember the day, and he has to ask the kids, and that's a joke we've definitely seen before, I think, with regards to the birthday, because Randy gives him the wrong day, and
works
Tim's
again.
mad, and he keeps falling for it. Jill is notoriously difficult to shop for, so she's made it easy on Tim this year by picking out a sweater. All he has to do is go get it, and I think, where's the romance in that, frankly? But Tim doesn't need to tell Jill what he wants because she already got him the perfect present.
She's just very thoughtful.
She is. She's thoughtful. And Jill heads upstairs, and one of the boys, they're adding fuel to the fire. They're trying to complicate things. They say, "Hey, Dad, do you want to know where Mom hid it?" And he does the whole. He does a real show of saying, "No, I don't." And then the second that she goes upstairs, he says, "Yeah, I want to know, and I want to know right now." And he pays Mark $2 to tell him where it's at, which
Mark's the narc.
If I were Mark, I'd probably take that deal.
Yeah, why not?
And Jill, she had a really, really clever hiding spot for it. Jordan, it's at the top shelf of the broom closet, about 3 steps away from where they were standing.
The real question is, when's the last time that Tim has, done any sweeping? So maybe it is a good spot.
I mean, that's a fine point to make, but I mean, all you would have to do is open this door and you could see it. It's just like out in the open, so it's a very close
it's
spot,
not like it's in a box or anything.
Put it anywhere else. I mean, anywhere. If you're assuming Tim, you're making the point that Tim doesn't do any housework, then put it by the laundry machine or something. But just having it atop this closet is, I think she was asking for trouble. So the gift is, Jordan, what is the gift?
It's a steering wheel from the Andretti race car. We had the Andrettis on what seems like years ago. And immediately after that episode, Jill put in a special request, and they obliged. So
is this ripped from the car?
Yeah, I think it's taken straight off of something they've driven before.
That's a cool gift, yeah.
It is a cool gift.
So now Tim, he feels more pressure. He doesn't think he can just go out and get her this sweater, even though that's what she said she wanted. So he's got to up the ante because he knows that her gift is so good for him. So he wants to do ballroom dancing. They're going to go to the Excalibur for dancing, but he wants to take lessons before that so as to be better prepared. And he tells Jill about this, and you know what? She's got 2 words for him. And you know what those words are, Jordan?
Hot fudge.
Yeah, gross.
Yep. And that's the plan. I don't know. I don't think Excalibur is the restaurant they're going to go to. Eventually, that's what it's going to lead up to. And I'm not sure if it's open still or if it ever existed. I tried to do some research.
I assumed when I hear Excalibur, I think of like one of those medieval times places. But I guess that wouldn't really make sense if you're ballroom dancing, because those places you just eat like huge chicken wings and drink a lot of beer. I've never been to one, but that's what I've heard.
They've got one really close to us. It's
there's one not far from here either. I think no matter where you are in the continental U.S., you're going to have one of those places not too far from you.
Seems McDonald's in medieval times.
Have you been to one?
I have not yet, but I think I'm going to have to...
I feel like you'd really like that.
Why?
It seems like something you could really get into.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make at least one pilgrimage at some point, so...
I think this weekend you have the choice between Quidditch Festival or Medieval Times.
Why can't I do both?
Yeah, there's a lot of time in the weekend, that's for sure.
That's true.
Next scene, we are at the studio.
Cha-cha-cha.
Now, Jordan, have you been to a dance studio before?
I don't think so. Adam.
All right. I wondered, is it common in dance studios to have photos of dancing on the walls? Isn't that just kind of derivative?
I thought there were a lot of mirrors so you could see how you were doing.
Yeah, I don't know. This place, it was just it seemed like a nice den sort of, and there were just pictures of people dancing along the walls. I guess it's like when you get your haircut, you look around and there's like photos of people with haircuts on the wall, but I don't know. It seemed like they were maybe overthinking that. But.
Yeah, but it's a nice looking studio. Lots of space. We've got some characters here. Jill is a natural at dancing. So is Mr. Green, and we'll get more from him a little bit later. Tim is embarrassed a little bit. He's not very good at dancing. He tries to break out his old disco dance a couple times, and his natural mechanism here is just to kind of make fun of the situation if he's not feeling comfortable. And Jill doesn't like that. We'll see that a little bit later on.
I found that very relatable.
Yeah, that does seem like something you might do.
This is where, we meet the teacher, and this is where we get the line I stated earlier on it. To live is to dance, and to dance is to be free. And this teacher, her name is...
Mrs. Keeney?
Right? Yes, Mrs. Keeney, and she's played by Ann Miller. 47 credits to her name. She passed away in 2004 at the age of 80. What do we got here? We have... she was very prominent in the late 30s, 40s, and 50s, so she's an old-timer. In films like On the Town, You Can't Take It With You, her last credit was Mulholland Drive in 2001. That's a very famous kind of cult film. And then she did get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1960, so she's pretty big. She's pretty big time. And she's memorable in this. I think maybe she has a dancing background. I didn't find that in my research, but she seemed like she knew what she was doing on the dance floor.
Yeah, she can cha-cha.
Yeah, for sure.
She's got some special dance moves, too, so we'll see that later.
Yeah, baby.
And now they take a little bit of a break. They've been working it out on the dance floor, and it's time to take a little bit of a break, and a fan comes over.
Yeah, as would happen, on this show. Tim's
I believe his name is
Andy,
right? Is that what
his name is? Andy Paxton, in fact, and this guy is played by, and I might say the name wrong, Mike Pinuski. Very, very active. 157 credits to his name. He's doing about every procedural TV show that's in existence right now. So recently, he's done stints on Madam Secretary, Blue Bloods, The Good Wife, Halt and Catch Fire, Law and Order, Criminal Intent, and I could really go on and on and on. I recognize him. He plays like and I don't know why, it's a very small role, but he plays a cop in Remember the Titans, and that's what I recognize him from. But this guy, he's doing some acting. He's keeping real busy, so that is good to see. And yeah, he's a fan of Tim's, and they kind of bond over their, I don't want to say hatred, but they're both uncomfortable in the studio. And Andy, he makes a lot of jokes about his wife, like having a beard or something, and that was really interesting to me.
He also loves to grunt, so that's good. So yeah. He's really an enabler for Tim here. He eggs him on a little bit. Mm-hmm. After the break is over, the dance teacher, she wants to kick it up a notch. Things have been going slow. Everyone kind of gets the feeling of the cha-cha, except for Tim, I suppose. And Jill, the natural, she's going to show what's going on. And also Mr. Green is going to be an example of what we're supposed to do here. So at first, Mr. Green, I feel like I'm playing Clue. Mr. Green, Mr. Green
in the ballroom dancing studio
with the candlestick
with Jill Taylor. Yeah.
So yeah, he starts dancing with the ballroom dancing teacher. They do some special moves. He's got a lot of flair. He's really selling it. And then Jill steps in, and I thought this might turn into like a satellite on a hot Tim's roof situation where Tim gets really jealous, but he kind of brushes it off. So I guess he's grown in that way. I don't know.
I thought that too. Yeah, I thought that they were gonna he was gonna, I don't know, confront the guy or something. But yeah, it goes away pretty quickly. And meanwhile, Tim just continues to kind of just like screw around in the background, like the two guys in the back of the high school class, making jokes and giggling, and
then they're gonna have to sit on the floor.
Yeah, they're gonna get punished by their teacher and have to sit on the floor during Channel 1 when they're 18 years old. That whole thing.
Yeah, that's happened to everybody.
I don't know anything about that, but Tim continues to screw around, and then the teacher kind of she tries to sort of make an example of him. I would say she calls him out. And she
wants him to loosen up.
Yeah, he needs to loosen up a little bit. I would argue he's too loose as it is. But they start dancing, and they have a back and forth, which is Tim's kind of being a wiseacre, I would say. He's
what do you mean? He's making mugging jokes? He's
making like mugging jokes. He calls her like babe. He's not being real respectful to the teacher, but what are you gonna do? I guess
he turns into he kind of turns into like his stand-up routine at this point.
Yeah, or maybe who he is in real life. Either one. But yeah, they start dancing around, and he's getting kind of into it, and he spins her. And Jordan, he spins her so hard that she leaves the room.
Falls down the stairs or something?
I don't really understand what happens after she leaves the room. There's contradicting sort of reports. She falls on the stairs, she hits her head on a piano, she has memory loss, etc., etc. She faints. Basically, everything short of death happens when she is spun out of that room. And
she asked for it.
She asked for it, and for a dancer, shouldn't she have the agility to kind of stop herself? I mean,
Tim
not that strong.
is just so strong.
I've seen Tim bench press on this show, and he's not that strong. So.
Well, he's been working out since you saw last, and he's definitely increased his strength, and he throws her out of the room. So.
Yeah, then Tim looks at everybody and says, "Call 911," and then commercial break. And I would imagine if you're watching this live and you see that and Tim says call 911, you're thinking, oh man, where's this going?
Boy, I thought it was interesting that this dance instructor, before he throws her out of the room, she's a bit forward with him, and he's very turned off by it. Like, he says, "I've got a wife, lady," and tries to walk away, and she's like, not in this scenario, you don't. And I thought that was a little strange.
Yeah, a tryst, if you will. Maybe she was calling him out because she liked him or something.
She loved him. She likes the comic genius.
We need to expand this universe a little bit. I think you and I collaborate, little spin-off.
A spin-off? Is that a pun?
Yep.
You're always so good at the unintentional ones.
Yeah, I know. It's the intentional ones that I struggle with. We cut back to home, and who's babysitting the kids? No, it's not Sir Larry Houdini or Harry Houdini, as you might have said once, twice, 10 times.
40 times.
40 times. Al's babysitting, and he's chilling out on the couch, and the kids are trying to play the same prank on Al that they did on their dad, minus the unzipping of the pants. And I was really glad they didn't unzip Al's pants, because oh man, I would have had to just stop watching. I think that just would have been a step too far. But they try the cream prank, and but Al is apparently he's feigning his sleep. So when it comes time to the feather part of it, he puts the cream on the boy's face. So he kind of just touches
really
all of them with the. And he got him good. Yeah.
And this is when I know it's whipped cream, because he takes a lick of the cream, or maybe Al's weirder than I remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if you can.
No,
say that
I saw the
sure.
can and it says whipped cream. So. Also, at the start of the scene, when they zoom in, this is where you see that there's Binford logos on the bottom of his boots. So Binford's kind of in everything.
Do you think unintentional, or why? What's the point in doing that? If it's not a real company, so what do they stand to gain? Just
I don't know. I guess in this universe that Binford is so pervasive that they even sell boots. I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't know why they would do it.
I don't know. Just seemed odd this one episode to really.
It did seem like in this episode more than others, they just turned up the Binford notch.
Yeah, no, it did. I'm not necessarily sure why. Jill and Tim come home mad. They're kind of bickering, and they reiterate to Al kind of what we just saw. And this is really funny. They note that after the teacher came to, she gave a description to the security guard, and I'm thinking, this must be the only dance studio in the world that has a security guard outside? Like, what's that all about? I mean, is that a common thing? I don't know.
It's high class, and apparently she described them as an older Japanese couple. Is that right?
She must have a concussion or something.
And we don't joke about concussions.
Oh, I was just about to. I was gonna do the Will Smith concussion trailer line. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Oh man, I didn't. Did you ever see that? I didn't.
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't met one person who's ever said they saw it. So
no. Not
that I go around asking people. Like that's the first question I ask them. Like, hey, what's your name? Have you seen Concussion? I don't do that, but
I do that, but
yeah,
I haven't. Yeah,
that's kind of how our friendship started.
Yeah, I start every new semester. I ask my students to write on a piece of paper whether or not they've seen Concussion, and
if they say no, you fail them.
Yeah, I say you better find a new teacher because this is not going to work. Because this is I structure my whole unit around that film. Let me stop going down that rabbit hole,
please.
So. Tim and Jill just continue to kind of bicker about this whole thing. Tim accidentally reveals that he knows about the steering wheel, and Jill is expectedly pretty frustrated. And it's my understanding that that's kind of how the scene ends.
Yeah, she says basically before that, Tim ridicules everything that's important to her. So she talks a little bit about how, he's joking at this thing that
She's
she was really
wrong.
exciting. Yeah, and she was really excited to do it. And that's when he does let slip that he knows about the steering wheel. And then she's even more mad because he snooped around and found it. And then she goes further to say that the ballroom dancing probably wasn't even his idea, that it was the boys. So she's fiery.
Giving the boys too much credit.
It's true. But she is fiery right now. She's mad, so
yeah, I mean,
not a good situation.
I suppose she has every right to be. Although I don't know if Tim was Tim that poorly behaved at the dancing. I mean, I don't know. I wonder how the night would have went
if he didn't, throw this woman out of the studio and hurt her.
Yeah,
because he was getting a little bit more in the spirit with her. He was dancing with her a little bit more. He was spinning her. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it didn't seem like he was. I don't know that he was being as bad as he can sometimes be. I mean, he was goofing around and stuff, but like. I don't know, I think I took that more as a response to his wife dancing with another man, which would maybe be a frustrating thing for someone. I don't know. I probably wouldn't love it, but she's not happy with him, nonetheless. So
I think it's expectations. She had hoped that they would go do all this ballroom dancing, that they would do this romantic thing, and then have a great night at the Excalibur. Well, now they can't find any dance or they've been kicked out of this dance studio. She doesn't even really want to try to find another one, so she's kind of out on the whole idea now.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe there's not other dance studios in the area that they can go to.
She said she's not interested.
Oh, she's just completely lost interest.
Yeah, because he says there are other dance studios. I think she's just miffed.
She's just miffed. Well, fine, I guess. What can we do?
We can continue the episode, and eventually she's just going to forget all about it. So
that's something that we've seen. I don't know, 39, 40 times. So yeah, we can expect it to happen again. Next scene. They're shooting like a Binford promo, or they're doing. I think that's what they're doing. But
about a nail gun.
About a nail gun. They're at Tool Time, and Tim accidentally shoots someone that is standing. A cameraman. The
camera slumps a little bit.
Yeah, the audience really loves it.
The audience loves it, and there's. You see a nail come out, and I'm just kind of wondering what the ramifications are of being shot with a nail gun, and they just kind of continue on.
Well, in Home Alone, Marv steps on a nail, and they made a second movie, and he seemed like he was walking around okay. So that's
seems a little different because he's shooting like a pneumatic gun of a nail.
Yeah. Well, depends on where it went. Do we know where it went?
Thigh.
I think he's all right.
I think he should go to the hospital.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. He's probably, you got to be insured if you're working on this show, so hopefully he's got good coverage, hit his deductible, things like that. Tim notes at the end, if it doesn't say Binford on it, somebody else makes it. I don't know.
Which is true.
I thought that was funny.
It was good.
Later, transitioning onto Tool Time, so Tim is being given an award or recognized by the Detroit Area Building Association. And we get a man that goes by the name of, well, I suppose his name is Jerry Holborn.
I thought it was Hobart. I don't know.
Either way, it's all good here.
He just likes to be called by Jerry.
Yeah, or Gary or Larry. 96 credits to his name. This guy's real name is Greg Daniel. And Greg Daniel, I think that's the name of the guy. Greg Daniels
is the guy who created that show. Yeah. And Parks and Rec, which you just made a reference to.
Wow. Full circle. Woo. Now, Jordan, have you seen Greg Daniels' most recent film entitled Fat Ass Zombies?
Is that the one that they played right after Get Out? They just played them back to back?
Yeah, it was they played it during the trailer. It's just really short. Okay. No. That's his most recent credit, Fat Ass Zombies. Prior to that, he'd done more. Tasteful work in Hancock, Mars Attacks. What else?
Sure, Mars Attacks.
Oh yeah, and then obviously, like the most important one, a film that we saw together, Spider-Man 3.
Oh man, a movie that changed one of our friends' lives, if you recall.
I don't. The only thing I remember about that is, that's the really bad Spider-Man, where he is sort of
emo,
what we would have called emo, and does he do doo-wop, or is he like skeeting, kind of doing some like
he's like snapping
spoken word kind of poetry.
Yeah, he's just laying it down, is what I would say.
I'm gonna when we release this episode, I'm gonna post that clip on Twitter because I know it's out
bad.
There. But it's really really bad. Yeah. So he's got some credits. All three guest stars have done, I would say, significant work since their time on the show. So that's something. So yeah, he's being recognized by this man. Al, you said Jill was miffed earlier. Al's really miffed by it because Tim's being recognized for promoting safety, and Tim tells this guy to be loud and clear, and this guy is just like yelling. He's saying. He
has this scroll. And he unravels it like, a medieval knight, and he reads it out loud, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And, Al is not happy because he thinks that Tim is obviously not safety inclined. But the Home Builders Association thinks that it's all being staged. So.
Yeah, we commend you for your clever staging of realistic accidents to show viewers what not to do. That actually was pretty funny. And Al, his face is beet red, man. He is steamed. And that's the end of that scene. So 3 guest stars this week. All pretty good. I feel like we haven't had any guest stars in quite a while.
Yeah, besides the K&B boys, really.
Yeah, and to call them guest stars at this point is questionable. I think they get about as much screen time as Mark does. So
I'd say maybe more.
Yeah. So next scene, where we're heading. Fans of the show. We're heading to the fence.
It's clip time for everybody.
It's clip time. So let's go ahead and just play that clip. Don't you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good to me.
Okay, cool. Here it goes.
Right now.
Hey, Wilson. Hi-ho, neighbor. Got one for you. Mm-hmm. How much wood could a Wilson chop if a Wilson could chop wood?
He could cut 1/4 of a cord of conifer if you gave him 1/4 for every cord he cut.
You're good.
Uh-huh. By the way, happy anniversary.
Not from Jill's point of view.
Problem, Tim?
Problem is, I can't dance.
I won't ask you.
I got Jill kind of angry with me because I was goofing around at this dance class we took.
Well, Tim, oftentimes we mock that which we cannot do.
No, I can't cha-cha. I was trying to figure out, where to put my hands and my feet and line everything up, and next thing I know, the instructor slides under her piano and her jaw's wired shut.
I don't know that step.
She didn't either.
problem is you're just thinking too much. Let's say you were a race car driver. Oh. And you're taking your turns at Indy.
India! Passing none, sir. See ya, buddy. Sucker, get out!
Tim, you're doing quite well.
Yeah, finish line's right up there. Checkered flag.
All right, don't look at the mirror.
Mirrors?
Forget about the minicam.
Minicam's right back here.
Don't wave at the car. Oh, you hit the wall.
Ow, they're all passing me. I was so close to.
Well, Tim, you were doing fine when you weren't thinking about the minicam or the mirrors and such. You were going on instinct. You were one with the car. You were zen-like.
I was zen-like. I never met Zen. What was he like?
No, Tim. Zen is a state of mind. Like when you dance, you can't worry about what your hands and your feet are doing. You just have to let the music envelop you. That's what I do. Right, left, cha-cha-cha. Left, right, cha-cha-cha. Right, left, cha-cha-cha. Left, right, cha-cha-cha. Work with me, Tim. Right, left, cha-cha-cha. Right, left, cha-cha-cha.
1, 2, 3, cha-cha-cha. I think I got it.
All right, Tim, we're going to do a turn. Let yourself go. Right, left, cha-cha-cha. Left, right, cha-cha-cha.
Wilson, I think I got it.
So at home, Wilson's outside chopping some wood. Tim comes out. He explains a little bit about the dancing problem that he's had. And Wilson says, we mock what we can't do. And Wilson goes on to say that he's thinking too much. He's probably a better dancer than he thinks he is, but he's focusing too much on what's happening. He's being too self-conscious. And he furthers this point by using a race car driver as an example that kind of relates on Tim's level. So, he needs to be one with the car. He needs to be zen and not focus on what's happening outside. And we also get from the scene that Wilson really knows how to cha-cha-cha. And also Wilson's a better teacher than that teacher was, because Tim thinks he knows how to cha-cha now. From about 3 seconds of Wilson explaining it to him.
They do like four moves, and Tim all of a sudden thinks he's got it.
I got it.
Near the end of the scene, maybe you noticed this, maybe you didn't, but the camera pulls back in a nice crane shot, and we're getting both sides of the fence dancing simultaneously.
Boy, did I get it.
Just good filmmaking. Maybe my favorite part of the episode. So, I thought this was a good fence segment. The last 3 or 4 or 5 or you lose track of time when you watch Home Improvement every week. But Wilson's been on point lately, and I'm not afraid to admit that to you and our listeners. Do you agree?
His appearances have definitely been better. So,
Jordan, we mock what we can't do. That's why I was so hard on Quidditch at the beginning. I can't do that.
That explains it.
Yeah. So later on, anniversary day has come. I don't know how much time has passed.
A year. That's why Jill's not mad anymore.
A day a month. She isn't mad. Yeah, he said, are you still mad at me? And she said no.
Perhaps that makes sense though, because we went through that scene and we just said that she probably is a little bit more mad than she should be.
Right. Yeah. I guess there wasn't great reason in the first place other than like Tim embarrassed her and that he was kind of like lampooning the whole experience. But I suppose that is logical. But she's forgiven Tim. Tim's he's looking snazzy in a suit, and Jill's she's dressed in the nines as well. And they exchange their gift. Jill gives him the steering wheel, and he's very happy, and then he gives her dancing.
I think she gets the sweater too.
Okay, she gets the right. He gives her the box and she opens
he gives her dancing.
All of a sudden I couldn't remember exactly like what.
When you watch them back to back, everything just all goes together.
Everything blurs together. Yeah. So he gives her the sweater. She's very happy, and then they start to just kind of dance in the house, and she's like,
"Well, Tim surprises her."
Yeah.
Really? First of all, Tim was supposed to cancel the reservations to the Excalibur, but he didn't, and she's confused. So he turns on the music, and they start cha-cha-cha-cha-chaing.
Yeah, and then Tim does the cool thing where he pulls the cloth out from under the table, and everything stays on it.
That's pretty impressive.
I've seen people do that in other shows, and I'm always pretty impressed by that.
If you want to impress Adam, just go ahead and pull that trick off.
Well, I mean, Jordan, I can't do it.
I mock what I don't know how to do.
I don't have a tablecloth on the table, but I would imagine it seems hard. But they dance and they make sexy faces to one another, and
all is
you know,
well.
I think we can assume the things are it's gonna be a late
Escalating.
night. Let's just say that. If
There's
I'm
gonna
not
be-
being too subtle.
There's gonna be fudge involved.
I got 2 words for you, Jordan. Hot fudge.
Ooh, baby. Maybe from Mackinac. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. Crazy. That'd be really something. Next scene, it's the morning after, and then Jill says to Tim, "You were amazing last night."
And they're both
and then
confused.
Tim,
He's
Tim
confused.
says, "On the dance floor, ha ha ha, they're dirty."
Yeah, they are. So Jill, this is a very short scene to kind of end the episode, but Jill tries the tablecloth trick, and she throws everything everywhere, which I actually thought it was pretty funny.
Good visual gag by Jill there, and that's how the episode ends.
Or
There's some
is
bloopers
it?
that follow. I just wrote bloopers, so you're gonna have to tell me what those were.
Well, we get a scene initially that we didn't get during the episode. It's Brad needs to leave for the bus, and Jill...
Deleted scene, I missed it.
Yeah, Jill messes up the lines, so that's part of the outtake, and then Tim also does something very similar. I thought, maybe there's some outtakes of, of Jill. Or, do you think Tim got that the first time? Maybe there's some outtakes of him messing up the tablecloth trick?
I don't know. I'm gonna try to reach out to somebody and get you an answer on that.
Who are you going to reach out to?
I'm still waiting on a return letter from the letter I sent to the studios in California.
I think you might get a better response from Richard Karn.
Maybe you let him know whim, but yeah, I don't know. He probably didn't get it the first time, but maybe they thought like, oh, we just showed somebody messing up the tablecloth trick, so we don't want to show that again. Because Home Improvement writers, they don't like to do the same thing more than once.
Never.
And that's it. We roll credits, fade to black. Dances with Tools. One of my grandpa's favorite movies was Dances with Wolves. So,
Which is
fun fact there.
I don't see a lot of similarities between this episode and that film, but
well, there's that part in this where Tim goes to the middle of like nature and he kind of befriends some Native Americans. That was a deleted scene though.
I didn't see that one.
DVD. Okay,
must have only been on dailymotion.com.
like all good things, it's found on dailymotion.com. Legitimate website with no limited ads and just good picture quality. Jordan, highs and lows for this one. What'd you think?
I actually kind of like this episode. I didn't, we talk about a lot of times where initially we'll watch it and we'll like it, and then the second time around, or when we talk about it, we won't like it as much. This one kind of had the opposite effect for me. I liked Al tricking the kids. I liked the absurdity of the ballroom scene, Mr. Green and his panache and his flair, and Tim's weird jokes about mugging people. I liked Jerry reading that scroll. That really got to me. There was even a couple of like small lines that I liked where in the Wilson scene, Tim says, "I can't dance," and then Wilson says, "I won't ask you," which is a callback to a song, Fred Astaire song, so I liked that. Jill pulling out the tablecloth and failing. So yeah, those are all good. Lows, once you started talking a little bit more about that initial prank with the pulling down of Tim's pants, doesn't get much lower than that, I suppose.
That was actually gonna be one of my highs. Is that all for lows?
Yeah, I think that's really, for the most part, I thought, Jill kind of resolving her own anger made sense, so at least that didn't come out of nowhere. So yeah, it was pretty good for me. I liked it.
Okay, good. Highs for me. There's that crane shot where you see them dance. Yeah, that's a literal high. They're dancing on both sides of the fence. I thought that was good. No, I like this one as well. There were funny jokes. It was well written, good quips, good one-liners. I like the guest stars. I think maybe I just like the fact that there were guest stars because it's been a little bit of time since we had any fresh blood in there. But I thought they all served the story relatively well. From the loud Jerry to the teacher to the Andy, who is a wife with a beard or something. of that sort. But yeah, I thought they were funny. Yeah, I just like it is a little bit different than maybe some of the things we've seen lately. Get them out of the house, kind of get Tim dancing. I thought that was funny. But yeah, I mean, good jokes. I think I laughed a fair amount. Even though I watched them back to back, I found it to be a pretty tolerable experience. So I don't have a lot to say that you haven't already said. In terms of lows, I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it was. Yeah, it's a good episode. It's definitely like a good season 2 episode. I'm not sure it would have stood out as much in
season 1.
It's all
relative.
But for season 2, this seemed like it was just enjoyable to watch. Yeah, I guess lows the kids unzipping their dad's pants and the filmmakers or the director thinking that we need a real close up of that was a little bit strange and
not your favorite camera
maybe I would have
angle.
liked to have seen more of Al babysitting. Yeah, I think there's some fun bits to do there. But yeah, all around a good episode, enjoyable.
Yeah, I would say the only other low, and I talked about this earlier, was there should be a lot more ramifications of getting shot with a nail gun than we're actually seeing. So
see, I think I think that they've handled that about as logically as they can, Jordan. I mean, if you get shot with a nail gun, you go to the hospital.
But they didn't do that. Like, if you look at the rest of the scene, the cameraman just like straightens up and turns to the next scene.
Well, that's
showbiz, baby.
He's a Vietnam veteran. He's tough. He is hardened, and he doesn't. He's going to finish his job, and he's going to take care of his responsibilities first. Then he's going to go to the hospital. Mm-hmm. Our generation, Jordan, we just don't. We don't have any backbone. Us millennials.
You're right. It's because I'm a millennial. I don't understand.
Yeah, we don't get. That's something we'll never understand. So what's next for us, Jordan?
What's next? We've got something in the mailbag, so let's go ahead and rip it open.
You've got mail.
So first we've got a Facebook message here from Sarah. She had some goof trivia for us. So twice and this is about last episode, we were talking about different signs, astrology signs. And twice it said that Al is a Pisces, but in season 3, they celebrate Al's birthday in September, which would make him a Virgo. So a little bit of a continuity error there.
Oh, jeez.
Sarah's bringing us back down to earth.
Do you think we should go back and
re-record the episode?
Should we re-record?
No, I don't think we should.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll just ask him. All right. Well, that is interesting. I mean, I suspect if you pay close attention to the show, there's a lot of things like that going on.
Yeah, probably. But Sarah, thanks for that info. Very interesting. And then frequent commenter Laura, she has some interesting things to say as well. We talked about how maybe, should we continue the partnership after our compatibility test? She says yes, because we can finish each other's sentences at times. We also have a lot in common without always agreeing. So we agree to disagree. So that's important. She also agreed with your pet peeves. So
yeah, Laura gets it.
A kindred spirit there. She says, keep some things private in their own time and place, not mine.
Seriously.
And then another piece of trivia, some jokes that Jill was making in the last episode. One was about Edgar Bergen.
Yeah, I saw this, yeah.
Yeah, he is one of the first and most famous early ventriloquists, was the father of Candice Bergen, an actress and author.
Yeah, do you know Candice Bergen? Murphy Brown and I don't know. I think mostly Murphy Brown. I saw her in Boston Legal as well, but she was pretty famous in her time.
Yep. So some interesting tidbits there provided by our listeners. So we're thankful for that.
We are thankful for that. It's not Thanksgiving, but it doesn't mean we can't be thankful for things,
That's right. So thank you, Laura. Thank you, Sarah. And if you want to reach out like they did, feel free to do so at facebook.com/HomeandPodcast. Twitter, we're at HomeandPodcast. Our website is thehomeandpodcast.com. And if you want to support us, get in on that Jungle to Jungle episode that we're going to go ahead and do soon. You can do so at our website. There's a support button where you can donate, or you can go to patreon.com/HomeandPodcast.
All right. I'm ready to talk some social media.
I hope so.
Yeah. Twitter. There's 2 polls this week. So first one, who had the more convincing dummy in this week's episode? 43% said Jill, 57% said Tim. So pretty split there. And then this one, which role do you find more interesting? And these are roles that we've played. And I got some bad news for you, Jordan. People aren't that interested in your roles. 13% said Jordan as Santa. 13% said Jordan as financial guru. 24% said Adam as mayor of Box City. 50% said Adam as Elvis. So
what was the Elvis?
50.
Oh man. Well, I'm sorry. You are interested in my roles, so that's important to me.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. So other than that, continue to reach out to us via social media. Jordan teased the Jungle episode, and I posted about that as well. So yeah, we're going to be recording that, I would say, quite soon. So if you want to get your hands on that hot, raw, unfiltered, unfettered, nasty, fantastic, dirty but clean episode,
it's just a paradox, really.
It's a pair of ducks. Go ahead and donate to us, and we'll send you that some way, somehow. So, all right, and I think that's it for social media.
That's it. So, here's the thing. We've come to that point where we ask questions to each other, and it's your turn to ask the question of the week.
Okay, Jordan. Like I said, I have one. It's not especially imaginative, but this hasn't been that boring of a gathering, so I don't think I need to pull up the website. Jordan, I just want to know, what are you watching right now? What have you been watching in terms of television shows currently, or the last little bit?
This is a terrible question because I haven't really been watching any.
Come up with something.
Yeah, I mean, television shows, not so much as a lot of sports lately, but I guess I've been keeping up with Designated Survivor. They had their little break over the holidays, and they're back at it.
I'd say it's just been fantastic. I talked to them yesterday.
Yeah, it's been interesting. They're just certainly driving the story along, getting some character depth in, and some turns and twists that I wasn't ready for. So I'm actually behind. They came out with one on Wednesday, and I've only been able to watch about 20 minutes of it. So got to get back into that. But other than that, haven't really been watching anything new besides Home Improvement. So
wow. What have you been doing then?
What
do you do to pass your time?
Spend time with friends. We went to the beach last weekend, so that took up a little bit of time. Watching a lot of March Madness once it's been here. And
I heard that I didn't watch the last game, but reports were that it was pretty ugly.
It was not the prettiest basketball game you've ever seen, but
that sounds like a college basketball game,
Yeah, and they
not
were
pretty.
And that's their whole goal this season was to kind of clean that up, but they did not. And it was still a competitive game, close game, so that's important too. But yeah, I've been just listening to a lot of podcasts and reading. I'm reading The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, so that's been interesting.
Okay. So this really just became a "What have you been doing?" question, which wasn't really what I asked, but you took
this
the question. This is what
happens when you don't tell me what you're going to ask ahead of time.
Yes, so. That's true. Which is every time.
Yeah.
But Jordan, lately I feel like I've been watching a fair amount of television.
Now I'm thinking of stuff that I have been watching. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, go figure. The weather around here, it's been raining a lot, and I've been tired when I come home from work in the evenings. So my girlfriend and I, we've recently finished all 3 seasons of the Great British Baking Show, and I tell you, that's a genuine delight, and I recommend it to anyone.
It's tasty, right?
It's fantastic. I didn't even come in with a tremendous, knowledge base or what I thought interest in baking, but I devoured it. Pun intended. Watching a little West Wing.
Ooh. Do you like that?
I do like it, yeah.
I've heard. I have a friend who is very, very interested in that show, and it's always intrigued me. So maybe I'll turn that on.
It's right there on Netflix, so that's good. I started watching Cheers,
where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, I'd never seen any Cheers before, and I like to have shows where I can have them on in the background and not really be paying real close attention. And most, newer shows, I can't really do that. But with Cheers, there's 270 episodes or something. So I'll throw an episode of Cheers on, and I'll walk in and out of the room and, pretty much understand what's going on. So I've enjoyed that as well.
When I was younger, for some reason, I liked that show a lot. It must have been syndicated and...
Yeah.
For some reason, when we would drive to Florida, and in Cincinnati or something, they have a Cheers restaurant, and it was It was the best thing in the world for me.
Oh, really? Yeah. It is pretty funny. I mean, it's
lots of famous actors, of course.
For sure. Yeah, it's I do enjoy it, and there's something to be said for just having a show on that is just on. Kind of, it doesn't require a lot of things. That's like why I rewatch The Office and things like that. I just like to have things on in the background. But trying to think. Other than that, New Girl. We got a couple episodes left of that. That may be ending out its run.
I think I did see that.
They're very. I think that no one really knows for sure, but we'll watch the last little bit of that because that's been a show that I've really enjoyed pretty much from Jump Street. I've enjoyed that show. So, but yeah, keeping busy watching the TV. But as the weather gets nicer, hopefully won't have to rely so much on that. But
yeah, I will say that I did watch the last episode of New Girl. That's kind of Andrea's show, so I definitely.
It's Andrea's show.
Yeah, I watched that with her. I don't know that I would watch it on my own, but I watched it
really?
with her.
I like it.
I enjoy it. I don't watch a lot of different TV shows, to be honest, and. I guess the other thing that I've been watching lately is I watched a few stand-ups on Netflix.
They're doing the thing where a new stand-up comes out every week.
Yeah, so I watched the Dave Chappelle ones. I watched an old John...
I've heard that those were... from what I've read, it seems like people are happy that it's out, but maybe it wasn't of as high of a quality as his old stuff.
It's so hard. He was so... how can you reach that level again?
I know, but... I'm wondering, is it? You tell me, is it good at all? It's just like people just keep writing it's so good to have him back, but no one's saying fantastic special. So I'm just wondering
it was worth watching for me. It wasn't the best stand up I've ever seen, but it was worth watching. And there's two of them, so you get a couple different things there. I watched an older John Mulaney one from 2015 that I hadn't seen before either. And I think
that's Comeback Kid.
Yeah, and I liked that.
Yeah,
and
he's my favorite, I would say.
And then he's the I'm gonna watch the Louis C.K. one that just came out soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Last one I watched the Mike Birbiglia one.
Oh, actually, I really liked his too.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I like that one. That's the last one I watched, but I watched the Michael Che one as well, and I like that one. But I haven't seen the Chappelle, the Louis C.K., and I guess I've seen all the Mulaney ones. But yeah, I do like it. It's cool that they're doing that. A lot. A lot of it's not very good. I would say I've clicked on some of them that are of a low quality, but for every couple of bad ones, there's a really good one. So.
I pretty much stick to the comics that I already know I like. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but comics we know and like Tim Allen.
That's right.
What Tim Allen show are we covering next week? I mean, the show is called Home Improvement, but what specific episode are we covering?
We're gonna cover
What a seamless transition that was.
Boy, yeah, good thing you pat yourself on the back for it.
I make that look so easy.
So we are gonna cover You're Driving Me Crazy, You're Driving Me Nuts.
I feel like there's a thing where the longer the title, the worse the episode. So let's see if that holds true next week.
I think it might.
All right. Well, Jordan, thanks for joining me, and listeners, thanks for listening. I guess I should say take care.
Take care.